Mike Florio, Pro Football Live, co-host, NBC Sports, joining us on the program. You've been fired up about this taunting rule here in the NFL. Where did this originate from? Where was the groundswell, Mike?
Well, and I'm fired up for a very specific reason. I think the NFL has done a very poor job from a PR standpoint, from an education standpoint, from a bracing the media and the audience for what was to come standpoint. This rule has been on the books since 1993. This is at least the second time in the last 8 years that the NFL has made enforcement of the taunting rule a point of emphasis, which is a fancy way of saying, hey, you officials aren't doing your jobs right. We want you to do your jobs better. We want you to be more consistent. We want you to flag Tyreek Hill when he sticks the deuces in the face of a defensive back as if you're running to the end zone, because they hadn't done that consistently. So it's not a new rule. It's not a restriction on celebration. The NFL dramatically relaxed the celebration rules in 2017. This is a very specific type of conduct that the league banned 28 years ago. They're just trying to get the officials to consistently enforce it. And it drives me nuts that the NFL did not do a better job of explaining it, because it puts me in the position to have to explain it. So I bear the brunt of all the no fun league crap that they should be taking, because they should have made it more clear and understandable. And I think they would have gotten more people to buy into it if they'd done it on the front end, not try to do it on the back end. And they're really not trying to do much now anyway to get people to understand it. They're just going forward.
Why don't you taunt the taunting penalty rule?
Well, I'm taunting the taunting penalty.
Well,
Take that.
All right. I brought this up. People keep calling me the old man, get off my lawn. Lamar Jackson, to me, doing a somersault in the end zone, that feels like you're taunting the entire defense by saying, I'm so alone, I can flip into the end zone. Is that taunting?
Well, they're focused more on the actions that are directed at an opponent or at the sideline. It's know it when you see it. You know, I remember in 2013, they actually had to explain the difference between spinning the football generally as a show of celebration versus spinning the football at the feet of an opponent, which makes it taunting. Again, it's know it when you see it. And the problem is, the NFL leaked yesterday to Mike Jones of USA Today that 9 of the 11 taunting calls that have been made so far are accurate. Well, okay, that's fine. 2 of them aren't. That's more than 18%. That's not good. And then they won't say which ones weren't taunting. Well, why not say so we all understand what it is and what it isn't? This is what drives me crazy about the NFL. They aren't sufficiently sensitive to what it takes to get people to understand where they're coming from. And some of the coaches have done a great job of explaining this week why the rule is what it is, but that gets lost in the background. People just want to say no fun league, and you want to keep players from celebrating, when the reality is they want to keep players from doing something that pisses off that opponent. So maybe he's looking to give the guy a little payback after the whistle the next time he gets a chance to do it.
Are the Texans tanking?
No, I wouldn't say they're tanking. They're going to win just enough games to screw up their chance to get the first overall pick. I think that they have a good team, a better team than we thought. Nick Caserio, the new GM, has done a good job of bringing in veteran players, plug and play, get them on the same page. They were more competitive last night than I thought they'd be with a rookie quarterback who had 4 days to get ready. They were very competitive against the Browns. If Tyrod Taylor doesn't injure his hamstring, they possibly win that game. They beat the Jaguars. They outclassed the Jaguars. I think they have a pretty good team, and they don't need to tank. They're going to end up with enough ammunition to get a franchise quarterback in the draft next year if they want one, once they trade Deshaun Watson. The question is, when will they trade him? But I think that there is reason for optimism if you're a Texans fan. Mm-hmm. And the schedule, look at the upcoming schedule. There aren't a lot of wins there, but this is a team that's going to go out and be competitive more often than not.
You have a column on Pro Football Talk that says Stephen Ross should do the deal he wants for Deshaun Watson. Stephen Ross, of course, the Dolphins owner. What is the deal that he wants to do?
Well, the deal is the deal that the Texans want. They want 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks, or 3 second-round picks, depending upon who you listen to. But, you know, this notion that first-round picks that haven't been used are treated like this magical entity and there's this great value. It's like a lottery ticket. Sometimes you scratch it off and there's nothing there. And for me, it's very simple. The Dolphins had 3 first-round picks in 2020. Tua Tagovailoa, Austin Jackson, Noah Igbenogany. You would give those 3 guys up in a heartbeat for Deshaun Watson. So why do we have this strange fascination with first-round picks that haven't been used yet? So it's almost like what the Rams have done. The Rams will gladly give away their first-round picks for a proven player. Stephen Ross has wanted a franchise quarterback for years now. They haven't truly had one since Dan Marino. He wanted Joe Burrow. The Bengals wouldn't give him the time of day. He wanted Tua Tagovailoa. That's not working out. He wants Deshaun Watson. You just tell your people, whatever the Texans want, go get him.
Okay, what's holding back the Texans from taking that offer?
Well, because they are confident they're going to get what they want at some point. Whatever the Dolphins have offered so far hasn't been good enough, and the Texans say, we'll either get it now or we'll get it in March. The draft picks aren't going to be used between now and March, and the risk for the Dolphins in waiting is that when we get to March, there likely will be other teams who say, we got to move on from this quarterback that we have. We got to get better. We got to do something. Let's get in the bidding for Deshaun Watson. And the next thing you know, you got 3 or 4 teams that may drive the price even higher. So I think there's value in just accepting the fact that it's going to be expensive. You get a player who's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and you finally have that franchise quarterback. And yeah, you give up some of your lottery tickets. So what? Look at the lottery tickets we just scratched off.
Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk Live, co-host with Chris Sims. I'm having a hard time understanding Aaron Rodgers with the new Aaron Rodgers, the Zen mentality. But he's got this Zen mentality, but he's certainly letting a lot of people bother him in the media. What do you make of Aaron Rodgers unplugged here after the first couple of weeks?
I always hate it when someone says to me, you're better than that. My response is, you don't know me well enough to know whether or not I am. There's a good chance I'm not. But I'd like to say that Aaron Rodgers is better than being worried about the things that people in the media say. And he had a couple of different occasions this week to talk about it. Tuesday with Pat McAfee, Wednesday at his press conference. And I think that there's a fundamental difference between opinion and fact, and he has it all kind of twisted together. And he seems just to have a level, not just of disagreement with those who would criticize him, but he's got resentment. There's almost like a vendetta. He wants to deplatform people who would dare criticize him. It's fair criticism based upon the facts as we know them to be. This isn't unfair to say when week 1 looks as bad as it did for the Packers, hey, maybe all this stuff going on with Aaron Rodgers plays a part in it. Maybe Aaron Rodgers isn't all in. He made a rushed decision the weekend before the start of training camp. He was 50-50 2 days before he showed up, and somehow he goes from 50-50 to 100 like that. These are all fair questions. Just because he disagrees with the criticism doesn't make them unfair questions. And yeah, he's got bigger things to worry about than what people are saying. And he acts like it's just 1 or 2 people. There's a lot of people who are saying this. He just needs to ignore it, focus on the season, think about his future at the appropriate time. But why get dragged down by the haters, Dan? Do you listen to the haters? We all have haters. Life is a hell of a lot simpler if you don't listen to them and just do your thing.
Should Kyle Shanahan have apologized to Matt LaFleur for flirting with Aaron Rodgers?
No, this happens all the time. And it amazes me when we get these reports, breathless reports. The Texans are getting phone calls for the first overall pick in the draft. Well, yeah, that's how it works. The general managers call each other all the time, and they talk about different scenarios. The reality is Aaron Rodgers was under contract and still is with the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, it was well known in league circles, wasn't happy with the Packers. And I think the bigger story here is the day before the draft, the 49ers sufficiently scatterbrained in their strategic thinking that as they're on the brink of taking Trey Lance, they think, you know what? Let's just see if we can get Aaron Rodgers instead of doing the whole take a rookie thing. That's what's amazing to me. When they should have been locked in on their plan and have a resolute approach, they decide to throw out a fishing line for Aaron Rodgers, because clearly they would have done it if the Packers would have said yes. You don't just make a call out of curiosity. So there's no reason for the Packers to be upset about it. And there's every reason for 49ers fans to think, boy, how committed are they to Trey Lance if they were sniffing around the possibility of getting Aaron Rodgers a day before they picked Trey Lance.
Have a good weekend, Mike. Let's let the blood pressure go down a little bit, okay?
I'm trying to give you some good content.
I know. I just worry sometimes. You get a the taunting thing. It just felt like it.
Hey, man, we're trying to create good content that engages the audience.
Zen. Wait, by the way, what is the Halloween costume that Aaron Rodgers is growing his hair out for?
Slippery Pete. He's Slippery Pete from Seinfeld, the guy who helped George steal the Frogger machine. Look it up. Slippery Pete. That's Aaron Rodgers.
Thank you, Mike.
See you, pal.
That's Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk Live co-host. Do you have Florio's got all that wine back there? I don't think he drinks it. I think he just whines. Oh, okay, Todd.
There you go.